We are born free, innocent, with only our feelings to grow up into the weight of the world upon our shoulders, to be glamorous goddesses and supermen externally. But our real identity of star power is within us. So let us cross that bridge together into the serenity of our souls as we see ourselves, as we see each other, innocent, with a bright future of happiness, for we are all the same across the globe, within ourselves to search the truth of our missing pieces of the universal puzzle our social system cannot give us. Therefore, we must rise up in the light of all our truth, knowing who we are, and set ourselves free of the genie bottle we have been stuffed into, to speak the fire of our truth amongst the turbulence of the social tide prevailing. As it plunges into oblivion, we stand firmly balanced at the edge, to ponder all the spectrums of light within us, shining brightly on the dark of night, illuminating all the assets of our peace within us, beautifully balanced and holistically united in the greater comprehension of our union, which invites us to step into the stage of light prepared for us at birth, to model how it is that happiness will balance all the weight of fear and give us wings to live the very truth of our identity of happiness.
Welcome to the Secrets of Happiness Unlimited, a product of Step Ahead Coaching. Hi, I'm TJ Younggreen. Is there such a thing as choosing to be happy regardless of circumstances? Does that mean that we live without care, consideration, or concern for our circumstances? What does happiness really mean to you? The total absence of fear, loneliness, anguish, and sorrow, pain, or suffering? Is happiness the same as bliss? Is blissfulness even a realistic state of being, or just pie in the sky? Today's workshop is a portion of the full course on Happiness Unlimited. The complete course is approximately a 7-day learning period, depending on how much time you require to reflect on the content of its lessons. I would expect you would like to purchase the full happiness course after going through this workshop. I will show you how to get a discount on the full Happiness Unlimited course, complete with workbook, later on. I grew up in the beautiful Napa Valley of California, the third of 3 children, having a 6-year-old brother and a 4-year-old sister. You can imagine I spent a fair amount of my time growing up listening to nature's beauty in the creeks, mountains, and ocean, where I observed the lessons of nature. Understanding who you are at your core identity is the foundation of happiness. There are many types of free personality tests online which can assist you in learning the basic structure of your personality. Your personality contains the roadmap of how you interpret the understanding of life. Along our path of life, we pick up many concepts of should and must, which do not resonate with our true personal nature. The result is insidious in that we slowly morph into inauthenticity in our evolution of development, which lends itself to unhappiness. I am a Leo with a Pisces moon. Leo helps me to be decisive and Pisces to be compassionate. So I am a compassionate leader. On a different interpretation, I am an ENFP, which stands for extrovert, intuition, feeling, and perception. And on yet another scale, I am choleric, phlegmatic, melancholy, and sanguine personality scores. So here is the interpretation of it. Extrovert complements choleric. This combo is the doer. Intuition complements phlegmatic, and this combo is the evaluator. Feeling complements sanguine, and this combo is the actor. Perception complements melancholy, and this combo is the inventor. So I am the doer, evaluating the actor, inventing. This course is about happiness unlimited within you. The more you can know and understand about yourself, who you are, and why you operate the way you do, the easier it will be for you to become the inspiration of your life, or the conductor of your orchestra, so to speak, to make beautiful, happy experiences in your life. I have always been a self-learner. I've always gravitated towards obtaining wisdom through experience. But about third grade, my father bought me the World Book Encyclopedia set of about 15 books. That was the bulk of my early education, supplemented with the usual classroom curriculum. At 15, I began my education into the martial arts and physical fitness. I attended boarding academy atop a mountain with a river encircling it. I worked in a lumber mill 4 hours a day to help pay for my tuition. The summer after my junior year, I worked on a nuclear submarine in Vallejo, California, Navy Station. I bought my first car, a 1957 Pontiac Chieftain. Then I had my first accident head-on with a rock wall in the mountains. At 25, I was newly married. With my 3-month-old son in tow, we moved to Washington State on the British Columbia border, where I became a logger and went off a cliff with my coworker in his truck, hundreds of feet down end over end into a ravine. Somehow I was able to scale the terrain back to the road and was finally picked up by another crew exiting the mountains right around dusk. My only real injury was a sprained spine. But after 2 weeks in the hospital, my wife informed me she and my son were going back to California. When I recovered, I drove a U-Haul of our stuff back to California, and that's where I began my medical career. 10 years later, I was divorced and joined the military at age 34. I had a 5-year commitment with the military as a specialist, assigned to the 62nd Medical Group, 47th Combat Support Hospital. Then, my oldest boy had a fatal accident, and they did not give me a hardship release. After 10 months of non-cooperation, I was finally honorably discharged. Because I did not have custody agreements, and was out of state when the accident happened, the various entities and hospital personnel were prevented from being able to legally inform me about the details of the accident. I had to subpoena all the records from the various agencies involved, and it was way too much information for any parent to know about their child. I was subsequently unable to cope with the drama of my medical occupation and decided to leave the country. I went to Asia to meet the sister of a coworker. After 3 weeks of staying in a new place every night under the guise of showing me her country, her brother informed me that she had a husband. She had taken her 3 kids to pick me up at the airport, telling her husband that she was taking the children to the movies. She then went missing. Her husband and posse of boys, after hearing she was with an American, was going to kill me. And we just missed him by 2 hours, her brother told me. And he suggested I go back to America. Yeah, go back to America, the place where 2 days after the funeral, my church had blamed me for the divorce and disassociated me from their fellowship. The accident had happened at the home of our sitter, who happened to be a surgeon in the church. Even though they had insurance for the event, we were advised by counsel to extend the statute of limitations to cover us if the policy ran out before resolution. The church apparently thought that was a spiteful move on my part, so I was removed from their fellowship. Wow, talk about a mind spin. Too much drama was happening, so I was not going back home. My visa was for 3 months, but I stayed 18 months. I traveled to several islands and escaped a kidnap attempt when a driver of a cab went down an alley and another man jumped straight into my chokehold as he hit the front seat. Eventually, customs found me, and I would have gone to prison to await extradition hearings, but the officer decided to call my lawyer at my request, who verified my story of why I was over there. And after a bribe was paid, I received 72 hours to get out of the country. But he had already arranged all of that with my lawyer. Back in California, my ex-wife's man had filed for adoption of my 6-year-old son. Because of various circumstances that are too entangled to get into, I lost my other son to the system and to this man. Eventually, I managed to return to nursing, and that went okay for 10 years or so. In 2012, I moved to Georgia to take care of my mother, but was denied a transfer of my nursing license. I literally lost everything. My house, my truck, my motorcycle, my second wife, all my belongings, everything. I managed to street rescue an emaciated Alaskan Malamute, deserted on the roadside, apparently eating roadkill to survive. And after $800 of vet bills and 2 months recovery, she was hit by a car while I was walking her on the side of the road and died right in front of me. How was I supposed to be centered, balanced, and happy? I had been consumed with anger for so long I had lost my desire to even be happy. Then I had a fatal heart attack. After 40 minutes of CPR, I managed to come back. I had 19 fatal or near-fatal final diagnoses, but came off the ventilator in 2 days and was discharged after 12 days. I have no residual debilitating effects. Even though I was anoxic and my lab work showed physical organ damage, after 3 months all my labs were normal. I did have an epiphany during the CPR. I remember choking, likely during the intubation process. I could hear muffled voices and I was trying to fight back against their efforts. It was terrifying, like a nightmare. And then, in the midst of their efforts, I just let go and surrendered and became a spectator to the entire affair. The peace was amazing, and I thought, calmly musing to myself as I was the observer while being intubated, wow, if in the absolute worst chaos of my life I can be conscious and at peace, then I can be at peace anywhere, anytime. And I equate this peace I felt with happiness. And it was my core self, experiencing the moment, but not entangled in the identity of the event. Have you ever noticed that there are certain people who seem to be happy all the time? It seems like stressful situations just bounce off them and that they always seem to see the positive even in negative situations. I used to not stand those people. I couldn't understand it. The trick is when you feel the heat of the fire, though, you're going to suffer if you don't go to a different direction, a different situation. Do you want to learn how to be one of those people? I sure did, and I took the time to figure it out. Obviously, if you're attending this workshop, you want to experience more joy and happiness in your daily life. Who doesn't? But even more importantly, this is for you. If you want to know the secrets to finding happiness or peace no matter what is going on around you. This program is for you if you want to identify the beliefs and patterns you have that are causing your unhappiness and change them. You want to stop living everyone else's dreams and feeling unfulfilled and instead embrace your own truth to happiness. You want to learn tools to help you choose your emotions and feel good in any moment. So why this workshop? Why happiness? Many studies have demonstrated that happiness can double your critical thinking skills, problem solving, and creativity. Happiness can boost your immune system and cardiovascular health, cause one to live longer, be more fulfilling and have longer relationships, receive work promotions more often, and create balance in life. Happiness helps you manage stress, and it can change your perception, like emotions and triggers and memories. In this presentation, we will be delving into the number one most important secret to happiness, which is recognizing that your belief systems are solely responsible for how you view the world and therefore how you feel. That is why this workshop is focused on rewiring your limiting beliefs. In this limited time together in this workshop, I will go over as much as possible. I promise to give you more information on how to take it further. I have a comprehensive program, as I told you, about how to unleash the happiness that is within you. Happiness is your natural state, to be in joy. However, it is often covered up by layers of programmed limiting beliefs, stifling your joy and happiness with fear and worry. Today, I am giving you this big picture so that you can see all 6 of the secrets to happiness that need to be addressed to create a lasting happiness. Today's program is focused on rewiring limiting beliefs, which will give you a strong foundation to start creating the happiness that you desire, no matter what. So let's look at some of the secrets of happiness. In this workshop, we start examining these limiting beliefs, but there are 6 layers of limitation that block your joy. Desire, those limiting beliefs, identity of ego, time, past and future, negative patterns and the wiring that has taken place in our minds through repetition, and moods. Layer 1 is desire. One of the biggest causes of unhappiness is the feeling of wanting something that you don't or cannot have. This is where the notion that desire is the cause of suffering comes from. However, desire shouldn't be a bad word. Your desires are extremely powerful and in fact create everything in your life, positive and negative. However, if you don't allow yourself to want something, then there is almost 0 chance you will ever have it. So how do you handle that negative feeling of not having what you want yet? First, you need to start identifying what you do want and why you believe you will be happier if you have it. Will it really make you happy? Or will you just get it, have a temporary feel-good, and then start desiring something else? You know, that is the definition of addiction. There are many sources of implanted desires, such as your parents and family, your friends, the society you grew up in, and in the media. The next step is to find out if you are really looking for your desires, or if you have been programmed to somehow accept that you think that you want them. In our society, we are constantly being bombarded with messages of what we should want, what we should do with our lives, and what we need to make us happy. How has that been working out for you? So, what do you want for yourself versus what have you been programmed to want? Layer 2 is limiting beliefs. Have you ever told yourself that money is the root of all evil? Can you remember where you first heard that? I do. I was about maybe 4 or 5 years old. My parents were arguing about money. And my dad wanted parts for his motorcycle, and my mom wanted some stuff for the new kitchen, or, fix up the old one. And oh my God, they were having a fight about it. But can you remember where you first heard anything about money being a problem? Or maybe that's not an issue for you. But when the seed is planted in your mind as a child on any topic, it takes root and impacts the way that you view the world. What are some of your earliest memories regarding money, for example? The belief that money is the root of evil causes you to develop other beliefs at an unconscious level, such as people who are rich are somehow corrupt, or that money will change you for the worst. So how do your beliefs, whatever they may be, impact your life? You may not want to make a lot of money. You may want it, but your unconscious beliefs are blocking you from getting it. You don't want to be corrupt or evil, do you? So you see this belief is a meme, or a simple, seemingly harmless, paraphrased belief that is passed like a disease from one person to another. It is important to root out common limiting beliefs, such as this one, and others like it, like no pain, no gain. It is so important to start paying attention to the words that we use because they represent our beliefs. Is life easy or hard? Do you have to pay your bills, or are you privileged to get to? Your beliefs are the framework through which you experience your world, and this perspective is everything when it comes to how you feel and how happy you are. Layer 3, ego and identity. Who do you think you are? Who are you really? And who do you want to be? Unless we stop to consider what roles we play and question if they're what we really want, we're stuck replaying the same roles that we learned in childhood, which are often dysfunctional and unfulfilling. Have you ever thought, wow, I sound just like my dad? Have you ever continued patterns that you saw your parents following? Are you truly being who you want to be? Or are you just doing what you ought and what you should and what you must because of your programming? It can be frustrating and confusing to find out that your ego identity is mostly a false created emoticon based on who you think you're supposed to be, instead of your authentic, personal, and original self, which is created out of your spirit. Again, who are you? Are you allowing yourself to be happy? The good news is you have a choice. Layer 4 is time. Each present moment is a choice point for anything and everything. But in the context of this program, it is a choice point of focus. Is it your freedom of spirit, or is it your egotistical programming that is choosing to focus on the past, the present, or the future? I can tell you that there is a key to happiness which dwells in the now, because you can only experience happiness in the now. You cannot experience happiness in the past. That is a wistful memory. And you cannot experience happiness in the future because that is an anticipation of a wish. In fact, the now is the only moment of experience, period. So stop putting off your joy and stop telling yourself, I'll be happy when blah, blah, blah. No, you won't. Once you get there, you will find something else to use as your excuse for not feeling good. The only way you'll ever be happy is if you make the choice to find joy in this present moment. layer 5, negative patterns that are usually automatic. Imagine I just walked into the room that you're in with a plate of large juicy limes. I cut into them and, oh my God, the juice squirts everywhere. You can smell it. I pick up a piece of dripping lime and hand it to you. You take it in your hand and you feel the slipperiness of it, and you put it in your mouth, and the surge of sour juices hits your tongue. Now ask yourself if you can feel your eyes squinting, your mouth watering and puckering up. It does this because thinking about the lime triggers an automatic reaction in your brain. Your brain does not know the difference between what is real and what is imagined, and what is programmed and what is authentic. So it tells your mouth to produce saliva to break down the acid in the lime. And this demonstrates how the power of your mind, and also how the power of a trigger, can produce a result. Which is more powerful, though, the trigger or the mind? The trigger is more powerful because it tells your mind what to do. Triggers are patterns of thought and behavior that happen automatically. Triggers are patterns that are conditioned. Ask yourself, are there particular phrases or smells or songs that automatically trigger a certain emotional response within you? These triggers are hardwired into your brain. What is it that you see when you hear the words, "Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light"? I bet you even sang the words in your mind to the tune of the anthem, didn't you? Sadly, traumatic and highly emotional experiences create the most powerful conditioning. Because of this, you may find yourself reacting to certain situations in a way that feels much more extreme than makes sense for the situation. This autopilot is also why you may continue to repeat the same behavioral patterns, such as certain relationship patterns, repeatedly. The good news is that you can change these patterns and literally rewire the connections between the trigger and the automatic response in your brain to a new, more profitable, better suited response. The first step is to start to become aware of the patterns and triggers that you currently have. If you are aware, and did you ever wonder who is the you that is aware? But if you are aware, then you can catch yourself in the act and choose a different response, something positive that helps you get into a happier state. Do this repeatedly and you will rewire your own mind. Did you ever watch that TV show where 3 people would say they were all the same person? At the end of the show, the host would say, "Will the real John Smith please stand up?" Well, 2 of them were not authentic. So when the real you is identified, then that you can focus on or do something completely authentic for yourself. Layer 6 is emotions and current mood. Happiness is an emotional choice, as is anger or any other emotion. Yes, you can learn the tools to control your emotions, so you can feel good now and automatically, no matter what's going on in your life. I know this sounds hard, but wasn't it easy enough to program all the negative automatic triggers you now have? When things are going on around you that are painful or scary or stressful, it can be hard to find your footing and remember that there are things you can do to be happier in the moment. But if you're honest with yourself, you will realize that maybe there is a part of you that does not want to be happy, and it is your ego, of course. As soon as the ego gets what it wants, it is immediately unhappy and simultaneously wants something else. The ego makes you believe all fault belongs to someone else and that they should change so that you can be happy. If this is the case, you will never be happy because other people and outside circumstances and situations will never be within your control. If you want to be happy, then you, internally, must take responsibility. But maybe you don't because part of you likes to be unhappy. You like the drama of it, the effect of it. You like the attention. Maybe you're just used to it, so it feels normal. Or maybe even so comfortable as to start and react to drama. Did you know that in particularly relationships, it has been shown to be more addictive than heroin or cocaine? That is because drama produces chemicals in your brain, such as adrenaline and others, which are not that much different than the chemicals produced when you do drugs. The difference is that your brain goes everywhere you go, so it's convenient having a pharmacy in your head. No wonder it's easy to get addicted to negative feelings. So, are you addicted to negative feelings? And wouldn't it be the same if we could get addicted to happy feelings? Do you really want to be happy? You can get addicted to happiness in the same way, by practice. So, the good news is that it's a choice, and it gets easier and easier with time. The next time you're upset, take a deep breath. Find something positive to focus on in the moment. Yes, I know it sounds like meditation. But just remove yourself from the situation, from the environment, from the energy, and then find a different topic to think about. Money is the root of all evil. I'm sure you've heard of that one before. The good intention of it is that money does not bring happiness and can corrupt or condition fear. This causes a negative association with having money because you think of it as ultimately turning you into a bad person. This is not a process of rational reasoning, but a programmed fear response conditioning. Even if it is unintentional programming, the effect of it is the same as if it were. The result is potential limits of unconsciously avoiding or sabotaging our financial success to avoid the negative qualities you'll believe will develop if you have money. Another one is finish your plate. There are starving people in the world, which is true. But the good intention is do not be wasteful of one's resources and don't take things for granted. The conditioned fear is food scarcity or guilt for having more opportunity than others. And the result and potential limits is overeating and health problems or holding yourself back to avoid feeling guilty over having more opportunity than others. Money doesn't grow on trees. The good intention is to be intelligent with how you spend your money. The conditioned fear is that money and its scarcity is a feeling that there is not enough and it is hard to get. The result is that you do not believe you can have what you want if it involves having money and therefore not going for your dreams. Don't burn your bridges. The good intention is to keep good relationships with people who may one day be a resource for you. The conditioned fear is apprehension to do what you know is right for you if you feel it will make someone disapprove of or reject you. The result is not making a change or taking an opportunity when it comes out of fear of disappointing, offending, or otherwise burning a bridge. No pain, no gain. The good intention is the reward is worth the struggle. Conditioned fear is the belief that to be successful, one must suffer. The result is choosing not to make changes or go for what you want because you feel it will be difficult or painful, holding yourself back from success. Life is hard. The good intention is pain and struggle are a normal part of being human. But the conditioned fear is that there's no hope of you feeling at ease or happy in life. The result is feeling discouraged and hopeless and accepting difficulties or unnecessary suffering because you believe it is normal or expected. Honor your father and mother. The good intention, yes, treat your parents with respect and be grateful for them. But the conditioned fear is overly concerned about disappointing your parents or that you will be disowned if you follow your heart. And the result is holding yourself back from what you want and knowing what you need to do or be because your parents or others do not approve. No one ever said life is fair. And the good intention is sometimes things seem unfair, but it is okay in the long run. Conditioned fear, you will not get what you deserve, and there is no justice in the world. But the result is you may hold yourself back, feeling like it will not pay off for you if you may develop feelings of hopelessness. Good things come to those who wait. The good intention is be important and be patient, and it's worth the wait. Conditioned fear is that you must wait a long time to get what you want, and the result is a feeling of impatience due to focusing on the length of time and not doing the things that you want to because it will take too long. You have to pay your dues. And the good intention is, of course, takes effort to get results. But the conditioned fear, you will have to suffer to be worthy of any payoff, and the potential limits of feeling unworthy is not worth it. You may not take opportunities, or you may punish yourself for rewards and accomplishments you receive with ease. And how about speak only when you're spoken to? The good intentions are that there really isn't any, and children shouldn't be spoken to that way. But conditioned fear is an apprehension to approach others or speak up, and the results are avoiding activities and circumstances that would require you to be an authority, lead, or demand what you want, stand up for what you believe, or speak in front of others. Children are meant to be seen and not heard, and really there's no good intentions here either. The conditioned fear is that feelings of being unworthy and low self-esteem are the results of avoidance of being in the spotlight, or anything that would make you feel important or valued to avoid. Think about and write down what types of phrases you were conditioned to believe. And after you think of all of those, see if you can think of others. And do you believe that they are all true? Can you see any fears that you developed because of the mimes and the rhetoric that you were told growing up? Can you see any way in which these things that you have believed have limited you? And can you see how you would be happier with different beliefs? What other kinds of different beliefs could make you happier? Write them down. And what are some new beliefs you'd prefer to believe instead? What new areas of thought would you like to grow into as your true and authentic self? You can change your perspective by changing your words. And perspective is everything when it comes to how we feel. And the words that we use are critical factors of our perspective. So, what are some key words that, if changed, would drastically impact your unconscious mind? The shift may seem small, but can have a dramatic effect on your happiness and your overall motivation. Things like this: have to versus get to. In what areas of your life do you feel and say, I have to? For example, I have to go to work. And what if we changed it to, I am privileged to go to work, and see how differently you might feel? Now, change your have tos into get tos, and try now your new perspective on for size. List about 20 things that you get to do versus that you feel you have to do. What about I can't versus how can I? What do you feel limited about? And what areas do you limit your ability to be truly authentic to what you want and your ability to feel joy? Does asking how can I change the way you feel about it? Changing this terminology allows the brain to stop shutting off possibilities and instead look for ways to create the things that you desire. Your mind will look for whatever you tell it to. Changing your what ifs. Many times we use what ifs in a negative way. For example, people might say, what if I get fired? Or what if my relationship goes bad? And so forth. These what ifs take away our ability to feel joy because they stop us from doing what we really want in life out of fear of what if. Try turning your what ifs into positive. What if you get a promotion? And what if your relationship improves? Remember, the unconscious mind is powerful and will look for whatever you tell it to look for. By saying, what if something amazing happened, your mind will automatically begin scanning your life for amazing things. Your brain will do whatever you think. Your negative what ifs are often rewritable. So make a list of all the things that you would what if about and rephrase them into a positive context. And do as many as you can. 10 to 20 would be great. How you get to apply this to your life, that's a key phrase, So once you get these statements rewritten, how do you get to apply them to your life? Take a look at the words you use and how you talk to yourself. Is what you tell yourself and others about your life focused on what you want or don't want? Are you focused on opportunity or limitation? If you want to be happier, you have to make the effort to find something to feel good about. If you find you have specific beliefs that tend to hold you back or make you unhappy, you've got to rewrite them with a positive affirmation. If you don't know what you don't want to believe, ask yourself, what do you want to believe? Write out a positive language and look at how you speak often. Take some time to consider your true desires, not the ones you think that you should want. And then consider if there are changes you need to make in order to live in alignment with the way that you really want to live. Remember that you want to know the secrets to finding happiness or peace no matter what is going on around you. You want to identify the beliefs and patterns you have that are causing your unhappiness and change them. And we're making some progress on that already. Embrace your own true path to happiness. Stop living everyone else's dreams and feeling unfulfilled. You want to learn tools to help you choose your emotions and feel good in any moment. And what my Happiness Unlimited program will do for you is that you will learn how other people's beliefs and desires affect your own. You will learn how to eliminate unwanted parts of your identity, how to time affect happiness, how to free yourself of negative patterns, and solutions to help you control your emotions and create happiness in any moment that is guaranteed. With newfound awareness, you can develop better coping skills for day-to-day stresses. You can make decisions that bring you happiness and success in life, and identify your true desires. You can enjoy dreaming again and reflecting on what you believe will make you happy, and find out why you're waiting to enact it. Take your power back and stop letting others decide your life. Get into greater detail about rewiring your limiting belief systems by taking the full program. Deciphering Ego and Identity, you will find and identify the roles that you play in life and where you learned them. Decide to start living with authenticity and integrity within your true self. You will learn how to eliminate detrimental identities such as illness, the victim, and poverty. You will learn how to spend more of your time fully aware of the present moment, where all joy is found. You can discover if you live primarily through the experiencing self, the immediate gratification self, or the remembering self, the reflective past self. You will identify your conditioned triggers and reactions so you can stop operating on them automatically. And you can identify patterns that have repeated in your life, relationships, jobs, etc., so that you can make decisions to stop the patterns. Learn tools for developing new joy wires in your brain. Learn tools for changing negative memory stress triggers into positive triggers. And learn tools that will help you feel in control of your emotional state. React no longer as a victim to your environment. The most powerful tool for generating feelings of happiness is you. Feel yourself and free yourself from pain by learning powerful forgiveness strategies. Rewrite your life script. Tell an empowering story of how you transform pain and suffering into joy. And remember, if you send me an email at shapedestinytoday@outlook.com, mention this workshop and I will discount the full Happiness Unlimited course for you, complete with workbook, by 30%. So here's to Happiness Unlimited. Let's do this.